Let's talk about the 7 reasons your wash day isn't lasting. Hey there guys, I had an epic hair day yesterday. Like, epic. It was an amazing wash day, but this is day 2. Since I'm eating my own hair, I thought today we could talk about the 7 things that you can do to improve your wash day longevity. Now, this absolutely isn't a terrible hair day, and to be able to be wearing a ball cap and take it down and fluff it, and for it to do this, I'm okay with that.
And I just want to mention really quickly that no, my hair has not always been like this. It has not always behaved this well, taking it down out of a ponytail and ball cap. So thank you to the Curly Girl method for tips and tricks on improving the health of my hair.
But if we're being hypercritical comparing it to yesterday, it looks different. It's very stretched out. And this is something that is very common. It happens a lot to people with wavy hair. But before we get too much further into today's video, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Guys, I have really been enjoying Skillshare lately. I have been doing what I can to improve my video quality, and that includes learning to use Adobe Premiere Pro. I've been really enjoying this particular class from Skillshare to up my skills because this program is so hard and I am not very tech savvy. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for curious and creative people. It's also really exciting that there are no ads at all. You do pay less than $10 a month for an annual subscription. I really appreciate what Skillshare is doing, and they're always adding new classes, so you might want to check it out. Also, very exciting, the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description down below are going to get a free trial to Skillshare. So like, you can go get some serious learning done. You can teach yourself some incredibly fun things for free in a free trial. So check out that link in the description. But anyway, back to the video. Why is your wash day not lasting? First things first, the first thing I look at is, did you use the right amount of product? If you use way too much product and you have fine wavy hair, or any hair really, but especially if you have fine wavy hair, it's going to show up really badly if you use way too much product. If you use a ton of product, your hair's going to be weighed down, it's going to be stretched out, it's going to lose its shape very quickly. Sometimes more product is not the answer. And on the flip side, if you didn't use enough product, there's not going to be enough of the styler in your hair to help your hair hold its shape, and so you'll just kind of droop and fall. I have talked about on this channel before what I look for or feel for, really, because you can't see it. It's this feeling of squishing the product into my hair, and my hair is almost so saturated with the product that I can kind of feel it squishing out between my fingers. Yeah, it feels like kind of a lot of product. And if you do too much to where like you get a serious squish and tons of product comes out of your hair, that's too much. But if you're scrunching your hair and you don't feel that squish feeling of having enough gel in your hair, then you run the risk of not having enough product in your hair to help hold your wash day together. The second thing that I look at is, did my products have enough hold? You may use the exact perfect right amount of styler, but if it's a medium or light hold styler, it may not have the hold, and therefore your wash day longevity is just not gonna be there. I am an odd sort of wavy. Most people, when you're talking about wavy hair, recommend that you use lightweight products that won't weigh down the waves and stretch them out. I find personally, if I use gels that were actually designed to spike your hair for 3 days at a festival and it not move, those work the best for me. If I use an incredibly hard hold gel, it helps hold my waves and curls in their curl clumps and in their curl patterns, because they don't have a lot of muscles on their own. They don't have a lot of hold or structure on their own, and getting that from the gel tends to work better than using very, very lightweight products. When I use very lightweight products, this is what my hair does. Yeah, it doesn't do much. But when I'm using the right amount of product and the right kind of product with the right hold, my hair will last. So there we go. The next thing that could be causing your wash days not to last very long is you just started the curly girl method. If you just started styling your waves and curls, there is a really good chance that your hair does not have its curl memory back. And what I mean by this is, let's say, for instance, you have spent the last 10 years of your life blow drying and flat ironing your hair to be board straight. Your hair actually literally remembers that. So you do all of the washing and styling and scrunching and diffusing and all the good things. You scrunch out the crunch, and then 2 hours later, your hair has gone back to straight. Like this. This is what my hair used to do. You can see that the ends are just trying to do what I had been doing to them for years. They were trying to be straight. They did not have the strength to hold their shape. So there is such a thing as curl memory, and this only comes with time. Over time, your hair will begin to remember its curl pattern and want to hold its curl pattern for longer. For me personally, I started noticing this getting a little bit better around the 4-month mark. Yeah, it took a solid 4 months and a major chop before my hair kind of started to recover a bit. And then at 8 months, I really felt like my hair had kind of locked in to its curl pattern. Now, for some people, this gets better much more quickly. I think if you have a tighter curl pattern, your curls begin to find their curl families faster. If your hair's on the looser side, I think it takes longer for wavies, for their hair to kind of find its curl families. It just takes longer because they're looser. The fourth reason your wash day may not be lasting is protein moisture balance. I don't even really want to mention this too much because I think it is wildly overhyped in the wavy curly community. I think people talk about this ad nauseum. And while it is true that if you have an imbalance in protein or an imbalance in moisture in your hair, your curls, it's just going to fall. It's just going to droop. Your wash day results are not going to last. I think it is not the root cause of why wash days aren't lasting. So I am mentioning it, but it's don't hone in on this one, especially if you are within the first 6 months of wearing your waves and curls. If you've been doing this for over a year and your wash days were lasting beautifully and now they're not lasting at all, it's possible that you are having a protein moisture balance issue. But if you started embracing your waves and curls and styling them yesterday, protein moisture balance is not the issue right now. It's other things. So if you have an excess of protein buildup on your hair, this is what my hair looks like when it has a buildup of protein. It's kind of more stretched out, it's more dull, so doesn't last as long. And if I have an excess of moisture in my hair, this is what it looks like. It's droopy, it's sad, overwatered flower, stretches out very, very quickly right after I scrunch out the crunch. And in case you're wondering, yes,
This is the issue that I am currently struggling with and recovering from. I talked a little bit about this in my last video, but my hair is still a little bit over moisturized, and I think that is the root cause as to why my hair didn't necessarily last as long as I wanted it to this wash day.
So this is a cause of wash days not lasting well, and if you're wondering how to correct either of these issues, I do have videos on this, but again, don't even look at it if you started the Curly Girl method within the past 6 months, okay? Okay. You are drying your hair incorrectly for your hair. For example, for me, air drying is not my thing. If I air dry my hair, wash day will be mediocre at best. And then afterwards, after that, it's terrible. Terrible. Like day 2 is just non-existent. Air drying does not work well for me, mainly because the weight of the water weighs down my waves and curls, doesn't allow them to dry in their shape. They get dragged down before they have a chance to kind of find their families. Air drying's not my favorite. Also, if you are diffusing your hair really quickly, like you were trying so hard to get your hair to dry faster because you got somewhere to be, guess what? That will ruin a wash day real quick too. The trick to diffusing for me is to do a combination of pixie diffusing and hover diffusing. When I pixie diffuse, I pick my hair up and I hold it in place for 60 seconds, and then I take it down, and then I move it to a new section and I wait 60 seconds. It's that patience that's not going to disrupt or disturb the curl clumps. Also, I hover diffuse the roots and those sections that kind of like, when you scoop all your hair up, there's not enough airflow in certain places. So hover diffusing hits those places that need it. Anyway, if you want me to do an updated diffusing routine video, let me know in the comments down below, because I've changed things like just ever so slightly since my original diffusing video. And crazy diffusing kind of rolls into the next reason that your wash days may not be lasting. You scrunched out the crunch too soon. So let's say you picked the perfect hard hold gel product for your hair that your hair likes. You used the exact right amount of that product in your hair. Your application was flawless. You plopped your hair beautifully, and then you diffused magnificently. And when you were done, your hair was in this nice, hard, crunchy gel cast. It was beautiful. Things were looking amazing, and you were ready to reveal your results. So you scrunched out the crunch, and tragedy ensued. As you were scrunching, you felt the damp, cold wetness of undried hair. It's the worst. Well, not the worst, but it's really annoying. You spend all this time, all this work in putting in the effort on wash day, and you get excited because you want to see how it's going to turn out, and you scrunch it, and you scrunched it out too soon. When you scrunch out your hair while it's still damp, things are going to stretch out. Things are going to be frizzy. Things are not going to be as defined, and you will be bummed. The 100% guaranteed way I know to check my hair to make sure it's dry before I scrunch out the crunch is I take my fingers like so and I stick them into my hair and close them. This is better than trying to like feeling of your hair to see if it's dry, because you'll scrunch out the crunch if you mess with it too much. You really want to give your hair a chance to sit in that gel cast for as long as possible. In fact, if you can not scrunch out the crunch on day 1, fantastic. Do that. Don't scrunch it out on day 1 if you can help it. But if you want to scrunch it out on day 1, make sure to check it with your fingers if you feel any coolness or dampness. Guess what? It's still wet. Wait. Something that I do is sometimes if I've been sitting inside waiting and waiting and waiting for my hair to finish drying in the cast and it's refusing to dry, I'll actually step outside for a few minutes and Sometimes the West Texas wind is too windy for that. But on days where it's nice and I can kind of get outside for a second, it'll help finish drying the hair to that 100% dry mark so that I can go ahead and scrunch it out. But if you can leave it in the cast all day on day one, that will really help wash day longevity. And my 7th reason why your wash day doesn't last would be you have terrible sleep protection for your hair. When we go to bed, we are theoretically on that bed for 8 hours. If you haven't protected your hair properly, things are going to look a little wild when you wake up. So for me personally, I really enjoy pineappling my hair on top of my head. This is just kind of a loose, messy bun, and then I go to sleep on a silk pillowcase. Theoretically, this isn't the most optimal way to protect my hair at night because you can see that from putting it up, it's a little stretched out. I also had on a ball cap and pulled it back in a ponytail today. But other methods of sleep protection that you can experiment with and try out would be using something like a buff on your hair. This is just a tube of material and you kind of put all your hair up in it and then leave it on your head. It kind of scrunches all the waves and curls together. Another option would be a satin or silk bonnet. You can tie your hair up in a satin or silk scarf. These are all methods of protecting your hair at night while you sleep. And you may be wondering, Courtney, if some of these seem a little bit better for wavy hair, why don't you use them? Because if it's not really easy and really simple, I'm not gonna do it. For me to just slap my hair up into a messy pineapple and fall asleep on my pillow, that's the way to go for me. If I'm gonna have to remember to go grab a buff and put it on, I might not. I might forget, I might get lazy. I always seem to have a hair tie on me at all times because I hate my hair touching my face. So that's why I go with the method of sleep protection I go with. All right. Guys, I sure hoped that this video was helpful to you. It gave you some thoughts, some ideas about how to increase your wash day longevity. I want to throw in a bonus tip for everyone who stuck around till the end. If you are using the right amount of stylers and the right strength hold of stylers, and you're still not getting that wash day longevity that you crave, it may be time to start layering your stylers a little bit. Maybe instead of using 1 gel, maybe use 2 gels, sometimes even 3. There's a whole method called 1, 2, 3 gel. If that's not working for you, if you don't want to layer gels, another thing you can try would be this technique called gel plop mousse. You apply your gel, you plop your hair like you normally would, and then you apply a foam or a mousse to your hair and then diffuse. Layering stylers can also sometimes bump up the hold, bump up the wash day longevity in your hair. And now, for real, that is it for this video. I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye! And yeah, am okay that this day 2 hair isn't any curlier. I'm just happy that it's looking the way it is because, I mean, I smushed it in a ball cap and a ponytail for the majority of today. So, I'm happy with it. All right, bye.